I read 19 books this month. Let's get into it. First, I decided to do this vlog in sections. So the way I'm deciding to do it is, first we're going to talk about our DNFs. I had 4 DNFs this month, and that's quite a lot for me, but I don't think it's the most I've ever had. I think that is tied for the most I've ever had. I don't think I've went over 4. I thought I was, but I didn't. So let's get into the 4 DNFs. The first book I DNF'd was The Phoenix Keeper. This is by S.A. McLean, and I stopped this at 78 pages. This book just felt YA, and I don't like the fact that the main character basically is so insecure, so everything, and I'm so tired of that. Like, you have a job, you pay taxes, I can't do it no more. And the fact that the love interest is one of those love interests who are kind of mean, kind of stuck up, kind of all this stuff, and I don't like that. And I see that a lot in lesbian romances, where one of them is mean and stuck up and the other one is either insecure or quiet, and I don't like that, especially if you're being mean and stuck up to the love interest. I don't like that. I don't care for it. It needs to go. DNF. I've procured the books that I love so much that I don't see a point in reading something that I know I'm gonna give a mid rating, and this is one of those books. The second one was Ink Blood Sister Scribe, and I felt the same way I felt about the last book, which is a book that I can tell is gonna get a 2.5 to a 3-star rating. There's no point in me reading it, so I'm a DNF it. So I DNF'd it like 50-ish pages in. And I also DNF'd it because it reminded me of another book that I DNF'd. It reminded me of The Shadow of the Wind, but like a woman version of it. Like, I was like, this gives off those types of vibes, just with more blood. So I was like, I don't want to read The Shadow of the Wind, because I soft DNF'd this in September. I picked it, I soft DNF'd it early October, and then I picked it back up again, and then I read one chapter, and I was like, I do not like this book. I find the main character insufferable, I don't care about the plot, and it's boring. And I thought it was fantasy, and it's not. That's the end of that. The last book I DNF'd was Malice. I was bored. I DNF'd this 159 pages in, and I was extremely bored, and I did not care about anything going on. So I thought, hey, it's time to DNF. I'm not excited to pick this book up. I'm not excited to read it. So no, time for you to go. So it's gone. Those are my 4 DNFs. Now let's talk about the books that I read that I don't physically have with me to talk about. So let's do those next. The first one is 7 Minutes in Heaven, and this one right here is for a video that is already out, which is my last Southern Hearts and Sign Kisses video. I gave it a 3.5 stars. It was weird. It made me uncomfortable in spots. That's why I couldn't get any higher than that. It would not have. You can see what I discussed and what made me feel uncomfortable and weird in that video, but a long story short, the age ranges were off to me, so I just, 3.5 star. Next, we have Archangel's Blade. This is by Nalani Singh. This is book 4 in the series. And book 4 and 5, which is both I read this month, don't follow the main characters of book 1 through 3. So this one I gave 4 stars. I had a good time reading it. I liked it a lot. It follows different characters that we know, but now we know more about, which I liked. It's just, a little bit like I want more from my main characters, so I was a little caught off guard by it. Next, I read Archangel's Storm. Now this one I gave a 3.5. I gave it a lower rating, mainly because this book wasn't surrounding one couple or one character. It was surrounding multiple couples from multiple books. So it was following a couple chapters were from the main couple from books 1 through 3. And some of the chapters were about the main couple from book 4, and then there's a new couple in this book, in book 5. And I liked the new couple, but we didn't get as much time as we got with the other couples. It felt a little bit rushed, but I did like the couple a lot. So I give it a 3.5. Next, I read volume 31 of My Hero Academia, and I loved it. I gave it a 4.5 star. Honestly, I might raise it up to a 5. I don't know. But it was so good. It got me right back into the world. I haven't read a volume in so long, and I missed reading them, but I don't own them physically. I own 1 through 30 physically, and then after that, I don't own them anymore. So I have to, get to collecting those again. But they're so good, and I love them so much. And I'm first or second in line for volume 32, and it's just so good. I can't really tell you much about it because it is volume 31. But I'm almost done. They're up until volume 42, so I'm almost done, and I'm very excited about that. But I'm very excited to continue. Next, I read Vinland Saga Volume 3, and I gave it 4 stars. Towards the middle and end, I was really enjoying it, but the beginning was a little bit of a slog to get through. I will be reading Volume 4 and 5, but after Volume 4 and 5, I will most likely be DNFing the series, because out of all the series I read, it's not the series I'm most excited about or I'm invested in. I'm so invested in My Hero Academia. I'm so invested in the Walking Dead comics. I'm so invested in Jujutsu Kaisen, but I'm not as invested in Vinland Saga. But I own physically 1 and 5, so I wanted to get to volume 5, and I'm on volume 4 now. So I borrowed it from Libby today, so I will be reading that one, and then I could read volume 5. But I don't know. After volume 5, it's a good series, so if I want to continue it, I'll do it probably through Libby as well, but I won't be buying them. Next, we have Prodigal Son. This is Greg Hurwitz, and this is the Orphan X series, and this is book 6. I believe it's 6. It's book 6, and it was really good. I gave it a 3.5. This one, if you know me, you know I do not enjoy a flashback. I am not a flashback girly, not on TV, not on movies, not in books. So this book was never going to be my fave because of that. A lot of this has to do with him and his past. So there's a lot of flashbacks. There's a lot of learning who his parents are and all these things, which is called Orphan X for a reason. He was indeed an orphan. And I just don't give a damn. I just don't like flashbacks. They take me out the story, in my opinion. And so, but a lot of things are revealed here. A lot of things are ooh, 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 especially towards the end. It was really good towards the end, but I was like, exactly. Next, we have Dark Horse. This is book 7 in the Orphan X series, and this one I gave a 4.5. I really love the dynamic of this one because we see that him as a character, Evan as a character, doesn't know what to do with his life. He doesn't know whether he should leave this world behind and go into a different and just become a regular person, or should he continue to do the good that he's doing? And when he gets an opportunity to do more good, is it still good if you're helping bad people? And I love that type of dynamic, and I loved the characters in this book because they're not just fully evil. They're very morally gray, and some of them just don't know any other way to be good. So they use bad to be good. And I love that, and I find that very interesting. So I give it a 4.5 stars. Next, I have The Glittering Edge, and this was a 5 star. The first 50 pages of this book reads like a pilot for a CWWB show, like a Charmed, a Vampire Diaries, a Teen Wolf. The first 50 pages will have you in, right? If you want to see my thoughts, and I give you a very great synopsis, I feel, on my last video where it's a reading vlog, I talk about this book ad nauseum, but I give you a very good synopsis of the book. It is a top tier book. I gave it 5 stars. I will be reading book 2. It's a duology, so I'm glad. And the way it ended was good. And this is the Fairy Loot edition. And I don't keep most of my Fairy Loots because they don't be good. I stopped eating Fairy Loots a long time ago. So I'm just reading my backlog of them. This, banger. And this one, I wasn't even supposed to get because I accidentally didn't cancel Fairy Loot. So I thought I did, but I just skipped a month or something like that. So I wasn't supposed to even get this one. but I'm glad I did. It was divine. Next, I have Home is Where the Bodies Are, and this one I gave 4 stars. This is very easy popcorn mystery. It's not a thriller, and in my opinion, it's not really a mystery either because they're not trying to really solve what's going on. Basically, they find some evidence that their parents hid a body, right, of a girl who went missing in their town when they were still children, and they're in like their 40s now. But it's like they're not really trying to find out what's going on because those are their parents and they don't want to realize that their parents are like murderers or something. So they're trying not to do all that. But this was really entertaining and really good. A quick popcorn read. The way I explained it in my reading vlog is like if you have a couple hours of like winter, spring cleaning that you want to do, pop this in, put on the audiobook and clean. You will, it's so easy to picture everything, and it's such a short book. You'll get it done in an afternoon if you use an audiobook, if you're not a fast reader. Next, we have Everyone's Thinking It, and I gave this a 4.5 stars. This was amazing. I love the nuance between young black teenagers going to an all-white school, or a majority white school, but the intersectionality that comes with that, whether that's race, class, sex, anything, to be honest, anything. Even like jealousy, which is not intersectionality, but like jealousy, all the things. I really enjoyed this book a lot. I love this a lot more than I liked Ace of Spades. This is like the better version of Ace of Spades to me, and it's a lot thinner than Ace of Spades, so do that information as you will. But you also see my thoughts about that, and I go into more depth about those thoughts in my reading vlog as well. Next, we have Benjamin Button, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button and Other Tales of the Jazz Age. This I gave a 2-star because the only one that I actually liked was Benjamin Button. This has it has 11 stories in it, and I gave the Benjamin Button one like a 4.5, right? Or a 4-star, and everything else didn't get higher than like a 2.5 or 3. One, I feel as though an author can't be considered a classics author if it can't be read in any time, period. So if he can only write books that are relevant and good in 1920s, in the 20s, in the early 30s, he's not a classic author in my opinion. 2, this man is extremely racist. Only racist people bring up race when it matters. Not at all. Not at all. In every book I've read by him, because I bought a 5, okay, let me make something clear. When I was getting into classics, everybody was reading classics, and I was like, I want to be a part of reading the classics as well. I started buying classics. I stopped like 2 years ago buying classics because I realized I don't like a lot of these. However, I bought a 5-pack of F. Scott Fitzgerald. This is the 4th one. I only have 1 more left. In every book I've read so far of his, he brings up race, specifically about black people, when no one asked, no one was talking about it, no one gave a damn, it was not needed. And even in Benjamin Button, which had no black people around, nothing, he still brought up a way to bring up race. And I'm gonna tell you how he brought up race. Everybody knows the story of Benjamin Button, how he is born old and like dies young, dies as a baby kind of thing, born old, die. The father of said old man, basically out of nowhere, just says, in his mind, so he doesn't even say it out loud, in his mind he says it, I would rather my wife have popped out a black baby than whatever the hell this is. Hey, was that needed? I don't think so. That's why I didn't get a 5-star, because mind you, also, how did Brad Pitt end up in a movie that's 3 hours long when Benjamin Button is a 20-page short story? I don't know, but I'm gonna leave that there. F. Scott is not a great writer in my opinion. He's very boring. He makes himself the main character of every story, and that gets boring as well because, sir, you didn't have as much nuance as you thought you did. But let's keep on moving. Next, I read Masquerade, and this was a 5-star. You can get my deeper thoughts in the reading vlog. However, if you want a book where every single character is 100% morally gray, there is not a perfect person and there's not a fully evil person. These are people making split second decisions and seeing what's the best for the country, even if it means doing bad to certain people. This book is so good. I really enjoyed this book. This is a book that in a couple of years, I'm going to reread it and annotate the hell out of it. Honestly, it could be next year, to be honest, because this book was so good and so amazing, and I really enjoyed it. And I just hope other people read it. I'm getting more into my black, like, fantasy bag, but this I would not consider fantasy in the slightest. This is just 15th century Africa historical fiction, but it is so good. It is so good. Next, I read Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. This was on my 25 to read in 2025. So was Malice, but Malice got DNF'd. But this one, I gave a 4.5 star. I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. I will be moving on to the other books, obviously, because I own all of them, including the novellas. So I will be moving on to those. And I'm just excited and happy that I liked it a lot. And next is Cytonic. So I'm very excited about that one. I gotta read the novellas that go in between though. But yeah, I had a great time. The only reason they didn't get a full 5 star is because I missed other characters. Because in this book, she's mainly alone or mainly away from everything we read about in book 1. So I was like, but I want more of what we read in book 1. But she was away from most of those people and most of that like area. So yeah. It was really good though. And the last 2 books I borrowed from my mom. So we have book 2, Second Helping. I give a 5 star. This is by Beverly Jenkins. This is part of the Blessing series. This is book 2. Top tier. Amazing. Small town. Serious topics. Cozy. But with stakes type of book. And then book 3, which is Something Old, Something New. And I gave this one a 4 star. This is the first 4 star of the series. But it was still very, very good. I love this series a lot. If you've read any Beverly Jenkins books, you'll know the town that they're in. And it's just a great, beautiful story about community and getting back on your feet. You can start anew. You can continue old flames, or you can do whatever. And I love that because they all have different stories. You don't always follow the same people in the town. The town is also getting bigger because it's being restored. It's beautiful. It gives off the small town vibes of Stars Hollow from Gilmore Girls, like where you can walk around. Everybody does know everybody. It gives off that vibe. So this is a really good series. I really, really recommend it a lot. All right, everyone. That's it for today's October wrap up. I read 19 books. 4 of those I DNF'd, and let's hope it's a better November. I do have on hold, or not on hold, borrowed from Libby already, Interview with a Vampire and Vinland Saga Volume 4. So I will be starting those as well. And I also want to start House of Leaves, because that's on my 25 to read in 2025. I only have 2 books left, but they're both the thickest and convoluted books I own. So we'll see how that goes. And I hope everybody enjoyed. I hope you added some of these to your TBR. I hope you read all of them. I hope you have an amazing scrumdiddlyumptious, no bad books, no DNF, all 5 stars reads for today, next week, next month, next year, forever. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.